My name is Dr. William Lee, and today I want to share with you something deeply personal, something I have learned not only as a physician and scientist, but also as a man who has lived through nearly a century of life. I am 97 years old, and people constantly ask me the same question: how do you still have the energy, the clarity, and the strength to stand here and speak to us today? How have you managed to keep your body and mind so vibrant when most of your peers have long given up on health and fitness? And my answer often surprises them. After the age of 60, I only committed myself to 3 simple exercises. Just 3. Not 20 different routines, not a complicated gym program, not exhausting hours of training. Just 3 things done consistently, with intention, and with joy. When I crossed 60, I realized something profound about the human body. Up until that point, we think we are invincible. We believe we can push ourselves endlessly, chase careers, stay up late, ignore our health, and somehow we will always bounce back. But aging has a way of teaching humility. Your body begins to whisper to you, and if you ignore those whispers, eventually it will scream. I made a decision not to wait for that scream. I chose to listen early, to respect the signals my body gave me, and to simplify my life. That is when I began focusing on just 3 movements that have carried me all the way to 97, with strength, with grace, and with health. Now, I want you to understand something. Longevity is not about doing more. It is about doing what matters. Health after 60 is not about chasing perfection. It is about consistency. Most people complicate things. They buy expensive supplements, they run after miracle cures, they look for quick fixes, but the truth is much simpler. If you nourish your body with good food, protect your health with science-based habits, and move with purpose, your body will reward you. My life is living proof of this truth. So what are these 3 exercises? I will tell you, but first I want to frame this in a way that makes you see the bigger picture. Exercise for longevity is not about sculpting a six-pack or running marathons. It is about maintaining strength, mobility, and balance. Because after 60, what kills most people is not a lack of youth, it is a lack of function. They lose balance and they fall. They lose strength and they cannot get up. They lose mobility and they stop moving altogether. And when you stop moving, life begins to fade. That is why my 3 exercises are chosen not for vanity, but for survival and vitality. The first exercise I chose was walking. People often underestimate walking. They think it is too simple, too easy, but walking is the most natural human movement. It engages your heart, your lungs, your circulation, and your muscles without tearing you down. When I walk, I am not just moving my legs, I am moving my entire body. I am breathing fresh air, clearing my mind, and pumping life into my cells. At 97, I walk every single day, sometimes slowly, sometimes with a little more pace, but always with intention. Walking keeps me grounded, it connects me with the earth beneath my feet, and it reminds me that motion is life. I have walked through cities, through forests, along beaches, and even just around my own garden. Each step is medicine. The second exercise I chose was resistance training with my own body weight. Push-ups, squats, and simple movements that require no equipment at all. Why? Because muscle is life insurance for aging. After 60, your muscles begin to shrink if you don't challenge them. And when muscle fades, so does your independence. I never cared about lifting heavy weights or building a bodybuilder's physique. What I cared about was being able to stand up from a chair, to carry my groceries, to pick up my grandchildren, to climb stairs without help. So every day I challenge my muscles with just enough resistance to remind them to stay alive. A few push-ups against the wall, a few squats holding onto the edge of a chair, simple movements done regularly. That is all it takes to keep muscle strong enough to serve you when you need it most. The third exercise I chose was balance training. This might surprise you, but balance is the single most underrated form of exercise for longevity. At 60, most people never think about balance. At 70, they start wobbling. At 80, they fall. And at 90, that fall can end their life. I refuse to let balance slip away. I practice standing on one foot. I practice slow, controlled movements like Tai Chi. I train my body to remain stable even when the ground seemed unstable. This one habit has saved me countless times from stumbling, from falling, from injury. My balance exercises are not flashy, but they are life-saving. Walking, resistance, and balance. That is all I have done for nearly 4 decades past the age of 60, and I stand before you at 97 to tell you that it works. I am not a superhuman. I am not genetically blessed beyond reason. I am simply consistent. That is the secret. And yet so many people refuse to believe that something so simple can be so powerful. They want complexity. They want magic. but magic is found in simplicity repeated daily. Now, let me share with you the deeper science of why these three exercises matter. Walking increases blood circulation and stimulates angiogenesis, the growth of new blood vessels. As a researcher of blood vessel health, I have spent my life studying how circulation impacts longevity. When you walk, you are literally feeding oxygen and nutrients to every organ in your body. Your brain benefits, your heart benefits, your skin glows, your digestion improves. This is why cultures that value daily walking have lower rates of chronic disease. Resistance training keeps your metabolism active. Did you know that after 60, most people lose muscle at a rate of 1% per year if they don't actively work on it? That means by the time you reach 80, you could lose 20% of your strength, which is the difference between living independently and needing constant care. But with just a few minutes of daily resistance training, you send a powerful signal to your muscles: stay alive, stay strong, and that strength protects your bones, your joints, and your independence. Balance training engages your nervous system. It sharpens the connection between your brain and your muscles. Every time you practice balance, you are training your brain to remain sharp, responsive, and adaptable. This is why balance exercises are not just about preventing falls, and they are about keeping your mind youthful as well. Over the years, I have seen countless patients who ignored these simple practices and paid the price. They became frail not because they aged, but because they stopped moving. Aging does not destroy you. Inactivity does. I have also seen people in their 80s and 90s discover these truths and transform their lives. They regained strength, they regained mobility, they regained confidence. It is never too late. At 97, I do not chase youth. I embrace age, but I embrace it with vitality. I do not run marathons, but I do walk every day. I do not lift heavy weights, but I do push my muscles enough to remind them of their purpose. I do not dance on stage, but I do practice balance to keep myself upright and safe. And because of these three habits, I have enjoyed decades of extra life, decades of extra energy, decades of precious memories with my loved ones. I want you to imagine yourself at 70, at 80, at 90. Do you see yourself sitting quietly, waiting for life to end? Or do you see yourself moving, laughing, traveling, spending time with family, living with dignity and strength? That vision begins with what you choose to do today. You may think you are too old to start, but I assure you, you are not. You are never too old to take a step forward. You are never too old to reclaim your health. You are never too old to add life to your years. When I look back at my life, I do not measure it in years. I measure it in moments. And those moments have been made possible because I took care of my body, because I respected my health, because I listened when my body whispered. If I could give you just one piece of advice, it would be this: do not complicate your health. Simplify it. Move your body every day. Challenge your muscles. Train your balance. And you will discover that the fountain of youth is not found in pills, in surgeries, or in expensive treatments. It is found in the way you move your body with consistency and care. So as I stand here at 97, I do not brag about my longevity. I share it as proof. Proof that you can age gracefully, proof that simplicity works, proof that even after 60, you can live not just longer, but better. My name is Dr. William Li, and this is my truth. I only chose 3 exercises after 60, and they have given me 37 more years of life worth living. And if you choose them too, your journey can be just as powerful, because age is not your enemy. Inactivity is. And movement, no matter how simple, is the essence of life.